Because I am cloud affair, I'm not ground protocol, I would like to know what would be the specific issues associated with my projection that I would need to transform, reform, or develop further or bring forward the monarchy of Earth as continuation of monarchy of Serbia located in England, which brings to territory in continuation planetary perspective, and where planetary perspective becomes very much defined in most accurate terms. Because it is iron history related island, and because the entire population itself withholds the elements of the prime population, which is strongly Serb related, I'm finding this the most natural recalibration, where the accent would be to restate or recover the local population, but in the same time to clarify that when it comes to planetary recalibration, then the centerpiece here is actually Serbia. And because it is about having this kind of central approach to planetary matters. And why I'm stepping up in England? Because the central plateau has been neglected for 2 millenniums, and I need my interface. I need my theater. I need to deal with the prejudice. So what there is to be recognized is that the Macedonian and Serb element in substance are not purely imperial. They're just participating, speaking of general population versus imperial bloodline. They're just being involved in some kind of first-hand assistance to the house. That is not going to give that much headquarter to any of the territories specifically. It is about planetary headquarter, planetary identity, which I deliver magically, very successfully. So again, humanity tends to complain about what no one actually should complain. No one should complain about correct answer found. It should complain when there is no correct answer provided. The amount of goodwill employed here would rather be on levels of reason and recommended approach. Recommended approach is prevailing much more on professional side, where no one literally can be trusted. High level of enthusiasm is not recommended, because the planet has been working to quite an extent, making fool out of someone, fooling someone, and going away with its recklessness and mischievousness. There is no equal to such, but above. And that is more as staying away from too much, from allowing yourself to be too much diluted, is the best way how we can describe the approach that we need to employ here. I will always be intrigued by the level of disrespect and misconduct I have found here, and a very comprehensive approach, which means waste of money, time, and resources to humiliate my positions. As I have said, that is wasting of planetary, that is imperial money, time, and resources for these people to indulge themselves into humiliating someone that clearly exists in the principal account of the planet. There was not that much doubt that I'm drawing here I'm deriving from the principal accounts of the planet, and the amount of disrespect, amount of collective engagement to devalue and degrade and disrespect my positions was astonishing. That is always going to be to amaze me and to remind me in the same time that playing equal is not what I can promise, because something like that has been taken away from me. I am doomed to live in my heights and doomed to look at you from the heights, and you shall never forget that. It is true that where is the state, a state as a concept, as a protocol, there is no I. There is a state, and everyone is subordinated to the idea of functioning of the state. Yes, yet you have that context, and that context still needs to function by the logic by which any notion function. In this case scenario, we talk about political subject. Then you have to have a module of comprehension how political subject function. So yes, we are talking about context state, but also we are talking context planets. Now, context planet, which we also understand as a context solar system. We start here our political platform from the parameters of context planet. In such parameters, it is happening context state, and in that context, it is us in a state. To find nations today and states totally detached from the notion of their own historic integrity and comprehending the protocol as a matter of political integrity, it is unacceptable. Political integrity, it is more as when you are in a classroom and you have to function to your best. There is no here random stepping up. Any stepping up, it has to be in clear context. Now, that context, first of all, would need to be properly crafted and understood its own historic heritage, which is delivering the comprehension of the notion of historic identity. That is why historic heritage as event is important in my work. I have recognized it as very important too in my constitutional work, because it is crafting the notion of political identity as we speak, and through it any single individual get crafted. These are important questions of configuration of our overall existence in a realm. What is the most irritating is to be born on a territories that are completely detached and disassociated with their own concept of historic heritage, which would be defining their own historic identity. Completely out of blue, completely out of touch of how to define their political function as we speak. Not having political construct, not having political house, being born on such territories it is as you are being born in under the sky without a house. Humanity, your stubbornness is unprecedented. What walks on top of the societies is intelligence. It is God-given logic. It is logic of creation. No one on earth can possibly deny it or disrespect it. Intelligence walks on top of the societies. Intelligence walks on top of our body. Intelligence make rules. Intelligence govern. Anyone that thinks otherwise, it is not just a fool, but unresponsible member of the civilization, and altogether these people are violating the entire realm on the behalf of everyone else. No human being on this planet have a right to violate principles of living in a realm. And when some people like that step up, we need to understand who they are and why they're doing such approach, why they're employing such approach, why they behave like that. We have to judge them. But we as a humanity cannot allow some bunch of people out there to decide on the account of 7 billions of humans walking and living on Earth. I today challenge the leadership on this planet on character, reason, intelligence, and approach they are implementing while governing this planet. And they will need to respond to this. Today they need to defend their right to sit on the top of this planet. And from now on, this planet should always challenge the one that walk on top of the planet on behalf of all of us. As that is the rule, the principal rule, one of the, not one, but the most principal rule of living in a realm. There is no higher and more important rule than that one, than living in a realm. That is the highest rule. We have right as a humanity to challenge our leaders, to challenge their character, their intelligence, their capacity to be leaders. It is our God-given right, and they need to explain why they think that they should continue leading this planet. They need to speak up today and defend their positions, or they have lost their right to hold such positions. And because we talk about 2 millenniums old events, which is embodied within the context of religion and the monarchies, therefore, we have to see that at the point of monarchies, but also as, for example, what would replace monarchies when it is in question Roman imperialism protocol, which technically literally went in USA. What sits in USA is Roman imperialism. And that is a monarchy. These are levels that will need to be blamed today about developing that kind of economy. Today we call it economy. And they live in that such definition of economy for 2 millenniums. Today that will need to be addressed. Not addressed but reported. You cannot use my capacity to earn wealth as a matter of your capacity to earn wealth. There is an overstep. You are taking me out from the planet. It is like I do not belong to the planet. You can't do that. Well, that is discrimination on first account. Well, yes, you have rules in United Nations against discrimination, human rights and things like that. Well, this is in category of violation of personal freedom, violation of rights to exist in a realm, violation to be in charge of your own life and the results of your work, appropriation of someone's freedom and someone's results of their work. That is exactly what this says. And as such, it cannot be tolerated, and it cannot be a matter of someone else's opinion how we should deal with the situation. When someone won't complain about their own position, the complaint has been launched. All of the previous questions are going to be answered within the fact that we talk about economic system today, where the peripheries of the planet are actually strongest economically. From Japan, starting from Japan, USA, equally here, Russia is nothing less economically strong nowadays. Australia and New Zealand, certainly. Malaysia certainly has become now lately equally similar as Russia. So someone completed the entire circle. Actually, created a circle around the planet. Literally. Like framed the planet. Like some kind of creatures. And then now they are going to consume the pie. Or to cut the pie, eat the pie, whatever. Now that is extremely predatory approach. It is animal instinct driven approach. But we have to notice that it has been created exactly using the protocol peripheries. And the economic sense, or the sense of how these creatures behave, the logic of how these people behave, is the logic of a creature. That is not logic of human. You do not get here human protocol. We as a humanity have to notice what we as a humanity have to notice. We as a humanity cannot accept such political charting. But no doubt about that we find here the economic system of America, for example, completely drawn into this via interference with Israel, via accepting Israel to be such strong builder center in America. This is clear as a day that we talk about that ancient approach still taking place very much. And somehow America is umbrella to the rest of the behavior. It is umbrella to how Japan is going to behave, and it is umbrella to how Australia and New Zealand are going to behave. No, clearly have become to great an extent umbrella how Russians are going to behave, and how Indonesia is behaving. So we have, in substance, the centerpiece going online: Macedonia, Israel, Roman imperialism, America. And probably, I would find to great an extent Serbia participating in all of that because of their still very high association with Yugoslavia. And Yugoslavia, as we discussed, withhold very much the Red Star, the reference to flame. It is second-hand event. And you notice here how political regimes, that's why they become regimes, are actually equally using such approaches to impose oppressive behavior and oppression within the circles of the families. That's why we have for Christmas mixed eggs, colored, different colored eggs. We don't have chocolate eggs. We have eggs in mixed colors for Christmas. So the story does not end here. The story begins there, in the families. Families become economic units. That is monstrous. And it is happening right there in front of our eyes. But these are regime territories because they're economic units. Everyone thinks that is pro-life approach. In substance, it is not pro-life approach. It is pro-economy approach. It is pro-exploitation approach. And who are the users? The ones that are on the top of the planet. You have investors you have entire economic system of America today became just investing in on the share market. Investing in share market became a way of living in Western societies, especially in America. And no one asks what these real these short words are in reference to. NAFTA. No one asks what means NAFTA. No one asks what is behind these shortage references on the share market companies. All they follow is the speed of increased value of certain shares of certain companies. No one is asking what that company really does. That is extreme predatory system. And Americans are still promoting it as legitimate. Well, no, basically it is an open ground gang system where entire population has been drawn into it. And everyone thinks it is a legitimized approach because it is being formulated as some kind of theater, and no one is asking about what makes the theater. There are a couple of aspects I want to pull out again out of all of this, which I, as such, have extracted in the Constitution of Earth. And that is one of the aspects is that everyone should accept. We talk here about mixed bloodlines when it is in question imperial historic heritage or concept of civilizational, even historic heritage. We talk about mixed bloodline. If you are going to pull out, as we are going to pulling out again, the protocol monarchy, this time of Earth, we would be talking about mixed bloodlines. Pay attention to this particular event. This continues to be a problem. It should be understood here what construct leadership and what mental construct represent leadership on planetary level and what mental construct cannot step up as a planetary leadership. This is critically important momentum. That is, notice the boundaries in which you want to deploy your presence versus what is the actual formation of the protocol we talk about. I understand now recommendation of some generals saying that it went too much on the other side. So in order to gain some advantage, we have to prevail on the other side. Because it went up too much on Serbia's side, if we want to prevail, we need to play it strongly on Macedonia's side. Even if I agree with such logic, it should be clear that we still talk about mixed breed and that we are about to declare monarchy of Earth. In that context, having strong Macedonian states would be easier accomplishable because I bring mixed bloodline now on on planetary level. By declaring monarchy of Earth, I will allow certain territories to be more national. But they should not forget to what they pledge and where and how I define my positions. Further to that, I would say that I still prevail on Macedonian side. I am certainly making a statement that my house is on Macedonian side because I have found softer tissue in prevalence in my character and my identity. but not 100%. And that is always going to be some element of confusion here between us. A new understanding where monarchy actually really exists, where actually really stands, and then where the wings are, and how the wings are versus the body itself. And that we always need to talk about certain level of reconciliation and certain level of mutual respect.